Oh, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. And I'm loving every second, minute. Hey. Oh, I love that. My name is Itu Meleng. Most people call me Itu. I am so happy to be here right now and today to share in this beautiful moment. Thank you so much to Pearl and Pearl Media team for this beautiful opportunity where I get to share a little bit about my experience with the young minds. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that even if it inspires just one person, it's possible to actually set your goals and achieve them. Yeah, man. Okay, so let's get to it. With the knowledge of being number 4 in a family of 5, where I lived with my grandmother and my younger sister Precious and our nieces and nephews while we were in our primary level. During primary level, I realized that I'm the kind of person, when I get into a space, I want to understand like what's the requirement to survive in this place, or what's required of me. So in primary, I realized people would normally assess according to wealth. What kind of family do you come from? Number 2, they would assess beauty. You know how it is. Always check if someone is pretty, and we make our own assessments. And number 3, teachers. I knew that teachers loved students who were very intelligent. And number 4, people also loved students who were very confident. And I fell through. For me, I felt like 3 of those things I was already out. I always felt like an ugly duckling, so I knew I was out on that one. I knew I would not be known for my confidence because I was as shy as they come. I honestly, for a long time, believed that people who were confident were born confident. It's only later in the years that I realized this is not true, that confidence is something that can be learned. I knew I was not from a wealthy family, so that was out. Now I needed to find out was I an intelligent child? That's something. So then I started to try to do a test for myself to figure that out. Because I realized that I started observing my test. So when I would write my test, after working hard and studying each and every single day, okay, I would get like 50 or 48, 49-ish. After I studied hard, man, it used to annoy me so much. And yet my younger sister, I would compare to her because I did an experiment with her, who, when we were told to study at home, like my mom made sure we had our time to just sit there and study time, she would just be drawing, doodling funky things. She would not be studying, this child, okay? This girl would not be studying, guys. And then yet she'd go write a test and come back with 70, 75, 80. And I'm just like, what? So I remember asking her, what is your thought process? How are you getting these marks? And she told me that when she's in class, she just takes notes, listens to the teacher, and then she never opens her notes after that. I thought, you know what? If I'm getting a 50 and 40 something when I am studying so hard, maybe let me try a different strategy to see what works for me. So yeah, this girl did that. And do you want to guess what mark I got? Guys, I think I got like 15% on that test. And not only did I get that lowest mark in class during that time, I remember that specific day, my teacher thought it would be a wise idea to call people's name out and also mention the marks. Lord have mercy. I was so embarrassed. And from that day forth, I just made a conscious decision that, okay, Itu, we've tested this theory. Now we know whatever it is that I wanted to attain in life, I knew I had to work extra hard and I had to figure out what works for me fast so that I'm able to apply the techniques as soon as I can, right? And then years later, now I am in high school, the shy kid. I'm still the shy kid, but now I know that I can work hard. Other things I know I can't control, but I know I can work hard on my marks. And as I'm trying to learn to get more confident with speaking up in the classroom, and we have an incident on one specific day. The student asked a question. I remember the teacher giving this judgmental look to the student, and then saying to everyone in the class, if you have a question, you need to make sure that you think about your question before you ask me, because I don't like stupid questions. That just was so, it was such a painful experience. I met for the student and for the rest of us, and then for those of us who had this fear and lack of confidence. You can imagine how terrible that was, to experience and be part of that. And I remember from then I made a decision which I would later regret, which I said to myself, I was like, you know what? I am never going to answer questions in the classroom, and I am never going to speak up, especially in math. And I told myself, automatically it means I'm going to fail mathematics, and I hate mathematics. That's the conclusion I made on that day because of that event. I would later regret it, of course. So years later, I think in my high school years, then I have my own friends whom during lunchtime, because they stay in the school boarding, they would go to their dormitories to go have their lunch. And then with me, I would be chilling by myself during lunch. And then I had this opportunity to go to one of the teachers' staff room at a time, and I discovered there was a library there. Oh my God. I was shocked and I was so excited. Are you kidding me? I was so excited that we had a library. I didn't know. I felt like a kid in a candy store. From that day on, that's how I started spending my lunch breaks. I'd go to the library, read in there depending on how the weather is, or check out a book and read in my classroom. It was my favorite thing to do throughout my high school time. Oh my God, I loved it. In my grade 10 or grade 11, we have a class, and then we are reading a book called The Boy from the Other Side. And my teacher, our teacher at the time, our English teacher, Mr. Sishoka, at the time, asked us a question, a synonym of a certain word. And I remember knowing the answer, and then it was just awkward because he was just waiting for everyone to answer. Do you know those teachers who are just so patient? Like, they have all the time in the world. They're like, I will wait for someone to answer. He was that patient. He just waited for all of us and just looked. And I remember, like, it just felt so awkward in the silence. And I just wanted us all to just move past through this moment. But he was not giving in. Then I thought I could tell the friend next to me to say what I knew the answer to be. So I tried to whisper it to it, and she couldn't hear what I was saying. So she eventually just said, Itu, just speak up. And then I took that risk. Oh my God, I was shaking. I was petrified. Like I said, I was a shy girl, honestly. Most people didn't know, but I was petrified of speaking in front of people. So I eventually do speak up. And then when I'm done speaking, the teacher looks at me and he says, which translates to, we have educated people in this class. That, for me, wow, oh my God, it changed a lot for me. Just those few words, positive words from my teacher, it gave me confidence and hope that I can achieve more. I can become more, and that changed the outlook, my outlook on academics, really. From then on, I started trying to participate more in class, and now even other teachers were able to recognize me. We get to grade 12. Girl is still trying to work hard. Grade 12 was overwhelming. It was hard. I remember I even wanted to stop some of the extramural activities I was busy with. Like, I was singing in the church choir, the school choir, and I was like, I have to let go. I have to let go of these things because I don't have enough time. But then I remember our school conductor at the time, Brasoli, shout out to Brasoli. I remember Brasoli saying that as much as it's important to be studying, but it's also important to have something that helps you to refresh your mind. Now I was trying to find creative ways to be studying, because when I was at the school choir, there were other grade 12s who were having like a study time. So I was missing out on that study time. And I was trying to figure out how can I compensate for that study time. So during my walking distance from working from school to working back home, I would be in my phone. People would be thinking I'm listening to music, but actually I had recorded myself reading out my notes. So I would be listening to my notes, replaying from my phone. So that was a way of trying to, because I had a walking distance of like 30 to 35 minutes from school to home. And I use that time daily to just, review the work and study some of the things that I could study. I just want to say that grade 12 had to be like the one of the hardest times of my life. I don't want to lie. I felt, all those self-doubts, not thinking I'm enough. Like there was a lot of that during that process. So many times when I just felt like I just want to give up because I just felt like I could never ever catch up. And luckily I had a great support system at home from my family, and my friends were also there to encourage me. So that was amazing, having the right people surrounding me. And during that process, I learned the importance of just falling forward. There's a saying that says falling forward, which means that even when you doubt that whatever you're doing will give you the results that you're looking for, just keep pushing. Instead of just giving up and just saying it doesn't work, just keep pushing forward up until you see something happens. And that's when I got to realize that actually I made it to like top 15 out of 300 and something students for grade 12. And I thought, oh my God, here I was thinking I'm gonna fail, and here I am on this top 15 list. So that was an affirmation to say, you know what, Itu, even when you don't see anything changing, even when you don't see the results, just keep pushing, keep pushing. If there's one thing you know for sure is when you put in the work, the results will eventually show. So I took that lesson with me for this realization that it's important for me to keep pushing forward even when in doubt. Then I started saying to myself, okay, you know what? Let's just, the saying, current saying that says, Delulu is the Solulu. Well, I remember I told myself, okay, I have already decided that I have a B for my matriculant results. That's what I said. I've already decided I have a B. Actually, I think a friend of mine, one of my friends, I think is the one who inspired this idea, that I already have a B, and the only thing I'm working for right now are the distinctions. How many distinctions do I want? In which subjects do I want? And then I'm working towards that. And that was my mindset. And now I kept asking myself, okay, if I'm saying I already have a B and I'm looking to get distinctions, I've been studying at a B level. So now how do I now level up my studying to make sure that I do get those distinctions? So that meant waking up earlier, like I would sleep at 12 at night and then wake up at 3 to study, and then sleep at 5:30, because my mind always felt like I needed to sleep before I wake up to go to school. I couldn't be that person who studies throughout and then go to school. It just didn't work for me. So I knew that I would sleep 5:30, and then I would wake up at 6 again, get ready, leave for school at 6:30 in the morning. So my results came out, and the girl got the B, and I had 3 distinctions at the time. And I later found out from my economics teacher that actually I was the only student in my grade 12, amongst all grade 12s, that got a distinction for economics. I was like, oh, I was so happy. After I got my B with my distinctions, you would think it would be easy now to get to universities. When my response that I got from UJ and VETS at the time, where I applied to do BCom Economics and BCom Econometrics, actually I got rejection responses for the courses that I wanted, but was offered slots in other courses. And I remember having this dilemma, sitting down and thinking, oh my God, what do I do? You know how it is. If you have passed, you are successful, then you should be going to university. If I don't go to university, then what will that look like? Batubatoring kind of syndrome. And I just loved how my sister Khalidi at the time sat me down and told me, girl, you need to do what's best for you, and don't worry about what other people are saying. If you can decide what you want, I can support you in that decision. And I absolutely loved that. I love that kind of support. So my family was very supportive. I chose to go and upgrade. So my sister made sure she did the research, found out about a school that I could upgrade with. And during my upgrade, so I had 2 options. Either I only had to do study without classes and write the exam at the end of some term, or I would be registering with a certain school where I study each and every single day. I attend classes daily or according to the timetable, and then eventually write a test, just like being in grade 12, just with less subjects. So I chose the one where I needed to go to classes each and every single day. And then instead of just doing math alone, I decided to also do accounting. So I did 2 subjects, And by the end of that year, I had gotten level 6 and level 7 for both subjects. So now I was able to actually register in VETS. I wanted to go to UJ, but delayed response. So I went to VETS instead. And yeah, I spent a couple of years there in VETS. By the way, I think my first year in VETS, maybe after a couple of months, probably after 3 months or 6 months, I realized that I actually did not want to, I realized that I don't want to be a full-time student. I wanted to study and I wanted to study and I wanted to work at the same time. I think probably this was brought on by the book I read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm not sure if it's that book but I remember just feeling like I just don't want to be in university all the time. But also I was worried about me leaving VETS. Oh my God, I'm not good enough. So I forced myself to continue with something that I didn't feel right for me. And I think also I had a lot of self-doubts. I doubted myself so much also in that period. So I wasn't sure if my not wanting to be a full student was because of my lack of confidence, or was it truly because this was not for me. So I just decided, okay, because this is not clear, I just needed to push forward. I kept pushing forward up until then I think I failed my major the first year. I had to repeat it, and then the other subjects were for second year, and then in my second year I failed my major again, and then the other subject I had to, but I couldn't do my third year without this major. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. I was like, no, I'm done. This is it. Now I really definitely know for sure that I want to study and work at the same time. So I spoke to my sister, told her, hey, madam, this is what I want to do. I call my sister madam, my older sister madam. I want to work and study at the same time. So my sister supported it. I left Joburg, went to Pretoria, moved to Pretoria to stay with my sister, and I registered with UNISA. Most people, successful people, talk about the importance of having a vision, having goals, and writing them down and having vision boards. So I thought, okay, it's time for me to create vision boards. So then during my time, while I was still waiting to start working, while I was still searching for a job, created vision boards for the goals that I wanted, amongst which I wanted to live abroad, work abroad, and other things. And I remember even knowing and the kind of job I wanted to be in, the kind of environment I wanted. And I remember when I was asking for my job from God, I said to him that I wanted to be able to meet different people who have traveled the world, who have traveled all over the world, who can inspire me, who can share their experiences with me. And a couple of months later, I got the job, and guess what? I was meeting people from all over the world, sharing their experience with me and their tips on how they're doing it. Oh man, so the dream of wanting to travel was there at a young age, but I just didn't think I could do it because, I was, a lot of people said people who travel are those who have money, and I knew I don't come from money. So I just thought, okay, maybe it's not meant for me. It's not meant to be. But when I started working, I started deciding, okay, I need to start saving money and do a bit of investing, because I'd learned about investing when I was not working. So now I knew a little bit about investing, and I had my vision board. I knew certain things. I knew that I wanted to live abroad, to go work and live abroad. I understood that meant I could not buy a car. It's not a priority for me. I could not prioritize buying a house, because then if I'm living abroad, who's going to stay in the house? I don't have kids yet, and there was just no need for other things. So I just knew that I need to take most of my income and just put it there. And I remember making sure that I still remember when I was earning like my first salary of like 5,000, of around 5k nyana, and rent is 2.5 there, rent is 2.5, and making sure that electricity is 500-ish in summer, then the 2,000, trying to make it work between savings, buying this and that, and then luckily though we had some salary increases now and again and bonuses, which it could really help with me making sure that I accelerate my savings, my investing, and also helping out at home as best as I could. I told myself, okay, do you have a timeline of being in the bank for at most 3 years? You'll work in the bank for 3 years or in this job for 3 years. After that, you need to leave, okay? Move, go abroad, go follow your dreams. But the more I got my salary, I just got comfortable. I was just, excuse me. But then over time, also my dreams where I felt like I was getting suffocated. Like I would wake up and feel like, is this it? Is this it? And I just knew that if I were to die today, if I were to die today, or I was on my deathbed, something were to happen to me and I'd be on my deathbed, I would really regret not taking the chance to follow my dream of moving abroad, working abroad, and living abroad in a foreign country where I know no one, where I can't depend on anyone, where I understand nothing. Like that gets me excited. I know I've spoken to a lot of other foreigners who are living in abroad, and they used to say their biggest fear was all this, but for me it was like that was the best part that I looked forward to. I look forward to getting confused, man, about the language, not understanding it, and trying as human beings, trying to figure out how we can communicate. So 3 years later, eventually my workspace, I felt like I had given everything that I could, and I just didn't feel like I was receiving as much as I was giving. Therefore, I decided to leave. And when I left, honestly, I had no plan B. It was before my planned date, but I was just at a point whereby it was just enough. I'd reached my limit, and it was just time to move on. I moved back home, left my apartment, packed up everything. Now I'm back home, and I'm thinking this thing is going to take me 2 or 3 months tops. I'm searching into moving to South Korea, to China, searching about Thailand and Vietnam. Where can I go and teach English and work there? And I'm thinking 2-3 months tops. 2-3 months later, I'm still in South Africa. Now I'm getting frustrated because this is not part of the plan, So however, during that time, and mind you, savings, no income. Now I'm spending some of my savings, obviously, So I'm very grateful to God for the discipline and the wisdom to save money, to invest money, because it really helped me. 5 months later, when I realized I'm still in South Africa and I've done everything that I possibly can from my side, and I have asked God of this as many times as I could. I've told him my reasons for wanting to do it. Ultimately, it's in God's hand. I've done all that I can. So, I remember that verse that says that trust the Lord with your plans and he will establish them. I just told him that, what, Lord, I surrender it all to you. I've done everything that I am supposed to do as humanly possible. And now I leave it on to you to carry it forward. And then I said to him, in the meantime, how can I add value where I'm at? What can I do? And I remember I had this idea now that, okay, how about you go find a kindergarten near you, gain some experience because you want to go teach English, you want to go teach kids. I remember saying to God that, because I kept asking him daily, it was, God, how can I add value where I'm at? How can I add value in the spaces that I occupy with the people I'm around? And because I changed my perspective from I want this and this and that, I believe that's when the change actually started happening. Because now I felt more excited about life with where I'm at, not where I want to be. I've set the goals, I've done my part. Now it was time for me to just surrender it and now focus on where I'm at and how I can show up as best as I can, So yes, I volunteered there at Excellent Kids, and then I asked to go see the kindergarten to take my own content. They allowed me to do so. They supported me, and the way that I was so excited and felt so much love, and I felt so appreciated. It made me want to do even more than what I was doing. And as a result, I started to do my research and thought, why not open an Instagram page? Because people love Instagram. So I started an Instagram page for the kindergarten. I knew nothing, about running a Instagram page for a business on Instagram. So I went on YouTube. I learned how to do all these things. And we have this beautiful account for Excellent Kiddies Academy in Pretoria. Next thing I knew, the principals and the owners and the teachers were telling me how parents are calling them and telling them that they saw the videos on Instagram page. They love it. It's so beautiful. Can they come see? They want to bring their kids. So now we had more students were coming in, and I just felt so happy in my present moment. And also during this time, I was making sure that I attend sessions with my mentor, and Masapo Squala, sessions about what are my dreams, what are my goals, how am I, helping me to stay accountable, really. And I really found that very helpful to just help me not to get lost in the midst of my thinking, So that really helped. And making sure that I consume content that was also aligned with what I wanted to do. I was watching a lot of videos about people who were moving abroad, working abroad, and watching a lot of videos about how to, position businesses on Instagram, because this is what now I'm doing. So anyways, months down the line, now I'm in a happy space. I even started a YouTube channel for my mentor. I'm interviewing him there, and it's amazing. I am loving my life at this point. And by the way, my kindergarten, the way they loved my work so much, they started even just paying me. Mind you, I went there to work for free. Now they start paying me because they're appreciating the work that I do. And I really learned a valuable lesson, so many lessons during that time. I learned the importance of asking the questions of how can I add value in the space that I am right now. It's important, yes, to set goals and dreams and do everything that you possibly can. But then after that, you surrender everything to God and trust that He will make it happen. And then go back to God and ask again, how can I add value where I am right now with what I have? That changed everything. I became happy. Girl, I was the happiest girl. I was volunteering. I was getting a stipend, but I was the happiest girl ever. Okay? I was content, fulfilled. I don't want to lie. Oh my God, I was so happy that when I got actually a response, I eventually got a job that I was willing to take, because I was doing interviews, but some things didn't feel right. My instincts would just warn me against other jobs. And so I would just reject, even though it looked good on paper, but something just felt wrong inside. And then eventually when I got a job that I was willing to take, I remember just feeling like, but I'm so happy right now. Do I really want to go? But I was like, no, this is the time. So it's time. Let's go explore this other part of life. And yeah, man. So I guess 15 months later, I was jet setting to a foreign country to work as an English teacher. And yeah, it has been everything I thought it would be, but also nothing like I thought it would be. I have to admit that, it has been one of the most challenging, spiritually, mentally, physically, journeys in this level that I'm at right now. However, in the same breath, I am telling you that I'm loving it. I'm loving that I'm being challenged so much. I'm loving that I left my comfort zone. I'm loving that I bet on myself and I trusted God to carry me through, to guide me through it. And I can't believe it. Sometimes even I can't believe that I'm here. It's God's grace and it's dedication, it's sacrifice, it's hard work. Excuse me. And I've always said that, I remember I always said to my younger sisters, like, you know what? I'm going to follow my dreams. I'm going to make it possible. I want my nieces and nephews to know that it's possible to have goals and dreams, that even though no one around you has ever done what you want to do, it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's possible. You can be the reason that people believe that it's possible. And I wanted that for my nieces and nephews. So now, because I used to tell them, guys, I'm going to move abroad. I'm going to go live in South Korea. I'm going to go live in Vietnam. I'm going to go to just like, sure you will. And then other days they're like, yes, show me, go, show me. So it's just amazing to see how inspired that they are also about the fact that anything is possible in life, guys. I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that set the goals, do the vision board, okay? Do the vision board. Even when, guys, by the way, the vision board and the goals, they're not meant to be something that's logical, okay? When you see pictures of you traveling the country, you put the pictures of you doing whatever it is that sparks fire and life inside of you. You put it there on your vision board. You let it be there. And you talk to God about it. Every morning you wake up, make sure that vision board it's in a place where you can see it when you wake up. Easy access. And every time when you open your eyes and you see it, you say to yourself, God, I don't know how, but I know we can. Okay? I don't know how, I don't know when, but I know we can. Start trusting that little by little. Start building that positive thinking and just imagine yourself being there, being in that country that you want to be in, achieving that mark that you want to achieve, getting your bachelor's degree, getting a B and distinctions in the mark that you want, going to the university that you want to go and study at. Imagine it, feel it. How would it feel? How would you look? What would your family, how happy would your family be? Just imagine all of that. After that, once you're done having the vision board, now you're seeing it each and every single day. You're having conversation with your God or your source, whoever your source is. Mine is God. I'm a God girl, honey. So having that conversation with your source and pouring into yourself, reminding yourself. And when you're spending time on a lot of things, asking yourself, does this help me with the dream that I want? Does it help me with the dream that I have in mind? Because right now, with me, like the way that I was so obsessed about saving and investing, I would not be, everyone knew when they wanted to go out, they can't invite me because I'm not gonna go. They knew, you're just gonna say no. No, I can't, no. I was focused on saving money and investing, and that's it. I was too harsh on myself actually for the first 2 years when I was working. I was brutally too harsh. Like it was too much, it was extreme. However, the point is, you need to make sure that when you make decisions, they are aligned with the goals that you are pushing. Vision boards, trust and believe. Make sure that you do all that you are supposed to, all that you can with all that you are, and then surrender everything to God. Trust that He will establish your plans. I have said too much. I've said a lot. I'm happy that I got to share a little bit about my journey. There's still so much to share, but there's not enough time. However, I really hope, I would love to leave you guys with a little video of some of my experiences. I have never shared my content online at all because I'm kind of really a private person. So most people don't even know that I'm living abroad. However, you guys get the exclusive. So I'm going to share a little bit. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you so much for paying attention. Thank you so much to Pearl and Pearl Media's team. It's been epic. Love you guys and bye.